Hello YouTube. I just want to take my time today and say thank you to all my supporters who helped me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. I've gone from nothing to something, so I really appreciate the support. My goal now is to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of next year, so let's see if we can make that happen. I'll try my very best to put out content every week. If you have any video suggestions, please let me know in the comments, or if you live in the area and if you want your car featured on my channel, just send me an email. Anyways, I want to do a vehicle update today, so I'll briefly go over the overall condition of my vehicles, show you around, and talk about the current problems with each of the vehicles. I'm going to start off with my 2015 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid. I bought this vehicle used in 2019 with 70,000 kilometers. Now it has over 240,000 kilometers on it. I've seen a lot of use over the years with this vehicle. The clear coat is peeling on the bumper, and there's a lot of rock chips as I drive on the highway a lot. The panoramic roof deflector is also peeling off due to sun exposure, but this is a very common problem on these vehicles. Other than that, the exterior is in decent condition. It is due for a wash, so my apologies. The inside has typical wear for a 240,000 kilometer car. I've seen worse interiors with less mileage, so I'm pretty proud of what I've got here. I use Meguiar's leather care for the seats, and they preserve them quite well for most part. There's no cracks or tears as of yet. I did replace the front door panel speakers on this for better sound. I do plan on adding an extra amp in here because the current amp has difficulties powering the speakers I've replaced. I know all of you are wondering about the hybrid battery and how it's kept up over the years. I'm glad to say that I get the exact same gas mileage as when I first got the car. In fact, I get better gas mileage on my 2015 than my 2019 MKZ Hybrid. So the hybrid battery is doing great without any issues, which makes me think I can go another 200,000 kilometers before it needs to get replaced. I'm on my third 12-volt battery for this car, so it's not too bad. Let's talk issues. Rust is an issue with this car. Every lower section on each door panel has rust in this car, as you'll see here in a minute. I've also got rust starting on my trunk lid. It's such a common problem on these vehicles, but it's a very sad one. Ford and Lincoln should have recalled this issue because it's absolutely unacceptable for a vehicle of this prestige having rust issues so early in its life. Even my 2019 has rust as well, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to take matters into my own hands and figure something out to prevent the rust with these vehicles. Issue number 2 with my 2015 Lincoln MKZ is a leaky valve cover gasket. As many of you know, I've already replaced the valve cover gasket on this, but unfortunately when it was done, it wasn't installed properly. So now I'm stuck with the leaky valve cover gasket that I have to pay another $300 to get fixed. Don't be like me, go to a reputable mechanic. The leak is right here, as you can see. It's a very minute leak, but it's definitely leaking alright. I'm due for an oil change and my second transmission fluid change soon. I've replaced the coolant about 1.5 years ago, so I think I should be good for another year. Moving on to the next vehicle, my 2019 has been an interesting experience. We bought this car last year used with 30,000 kilometers on it. Now it has over 82,000 kilometers. I've just been doing oil changes on this car and nothing else yet. We are the third owners of this vehicle, so it's quite interesting to see so many owner changes in such a short period of time. This also sees a lot of highway driving, and the front bumper is definitely seeing some wear on it. Other than that, on the exterior, one of my family members curbed the wheels and the lower side skirt here. Kind of disappointing, but yeah, that's life. Other than that, the exterior is in pretty good shape. The interior is doing great as well. Like I said before, I use Meguiar's leather care on these seats and they do a really good job. Let's go straight to the issues. I've been having a lot of random electrical issues with this car. The daytime running lamps work when they want to, the screen completely shuts off while driving, and there's some weird humming noise when I use the AC on a hot summer's day. Unfortunately, the dealers couldn't replicate any of these issues, so I really couldn't get it fixed. So a lot of half-baked electronics on this MKZ, which is most likely why the first two owners traded it in so fast. I've also replaced the rear bumper on this MKZ under an insurance claim because one of the parking sensors fell into the bumper, and Lincoln said they wouldn't touch it. I've also been getting really bad gas mileage on this thing for some reason. I'm getting about 32, or should I say I was getting about 32 miles per gallon, which is just bad for this vehicle. I put some Lucas upper cylinder lubricant in the gas tank and it has significantly improved, but I'm not getting the same gas mileage as my 2015 MKZ Hybrid with almost triple the kilometers. So I'm not too sure if I want to keep this vehicle out of warranty. It's just been problematic from the start, which is quite surprising for me. Don't get me wrong, this is such a great car and I love driving it, but there's just too many random issues that got me wondering if it will be a good long-term investment. If it had 250,000 kilometers, I wouldn't be complaining about it, but this only has just over 82,000 kilometers, so I'm really not sure what's going on, but we'll definitely keep everyone posted with this vehicle. Moving on to my 2006 GMC Envoy XL, it's doing great. We bought this van new in 2006 and now it has over 436,000 kilometers. It still has the original engine, but got a rebuilt transmission and a rear differential. I just did a coolant flush and synthetic oil change on it last week. It's typical wear for this age and mileage, lots of rock chips on the bumper and the paint is peeling off as well. Just some typical surface rust on the frame and nothing more than that. The chrome side piece is bubbling. I'm thinking of doing a chrome delete on it eventually, but other than that, I really can't complain about the exterior. There's no door panel rust like my MKZ, which I'm very happy about. Moving inside of the vehicle, it's overall great condition for this mileage and age. We replaced the head unit in 2013 and recently replaced the front door panels because the old ones were a bit worn out. So let's move on to problems. I need to get an instrument cluster rebuild eventually because the lights are almost completely out on it. The HVAC fan control does not go past 3, or should I say speed 3. I have to change out a resistor. It's apparently a common problem on these Envoys. The front differential is leaking a bit, so I have to get that addressed before winter time. There's some typical rust on the rear hatch, which I tried to paint. I'll show you in a bit. Hopefully that lasts me some time. There's some pulley whine when I accelerate, so that's due for some lubrication. I think I need a new thermostat because when I'm at a drive-through or when the car is in idle in drive, the coolant temperature gets very hot. But when I start driving again, it gets back to normal. From what my fellow GMC owners said, it's the thermostat and we're looking at about $300 to get that fixed. It's not really a problem in the winter time though, so I might just leave it for next year. So this is the rust I was talking about on the tailgate. I used the sandpaper to sand it down as much as I can, then I put 2 coats of rubberized paint on it. I did this in the beginning of the year and for most of the part it's holding up all right. So let's just hope it holds up for another year or two. I'll pop the hood and I'll show you guys what's happening underneath there. A couple of weeks ago, I opened the hood and I see a big mouse chewing on the AC refrigerant sensor wire. Unfortunately, it chewed it clean, so the AC stopped working. I got it soldered back together, which is just a temporary fix for now. This thing still has the original water pump. The only thing we've done to the engine is a valve cover gasket, but other than that, she's doing good. Last winter, we somehow got water in spark plug number 5 and 6, so it started misfiring really bad. But I replaced all the spark plugs and it fixed the problem, so it's all good now. Moving on to the last vehicle, it's our 2004 GMC Envoy XL V8 that we bought about a year ago. We bought it with just over 310,000 kilometers on it. Now it's got just over 344,000 kilometers on it. We got it from the original owner who owned it since new and took very good care of it. The outside is in really good condition for the age and mileage. This lived all its life in the city, so the rear and front bumpers are in really good shape. No rock chips and nothing like that. And I think this vehicle has been undercoated at one point, which is really awesome. There's very little rust on it. Moving on to the interior, everything is original here except for the oversized head unit that we installed. Let's talk about problems. There's a P0420 code which suggests that it might need a catalytic converter, a new one. It drives fine, but sometimes it feels like there's a small misfire. The rear main seal is leaking. It's apparently a common issue on these older 5.3 motors, so it's best to get it replaced when we're doing the transmission. Speaking of transmission, it shifts hard from first to second and it slips a bit in second. So I think it's time for a new transmission soon. It's still drivable. We did a 12,000 kilometer road trip to Toronto in this thing and it was just fine. The rear shocks need to be replaced, which is not a big job. The other odd problem is the alignment. The tires are worn out on the inside, so I gotta take care of that, or else it's gonna eat through tires. Those are all the issues with it. So now let's talk about what we've done to the vehicle since we bought it. The spark plugs and wires have been replaced. The rear differential got new oil. We replaced the HVAC actuator in the front. Thankfully, it was accessible from underneath the driver's side footwell area. The other two big things we got done was the new rear AC lines because there was an unfixable leak, and a new water pump because it was slightly leaking coolant. The total for these two jobs, the water pump and the AC line, it was $1,200 Canadian, which is not bad. Here's a quick look at this mighty 5.3 motor. I'm really going to miss the V8 engines. No matter what hybrid I drive, nothing can replace the sound and solidity of a V8 engine. This is the 5.3 without active fuel management. Ever since GM introduced that active fuel management crap, it's been downhill when it comes to reliability. Those systems are initially good, but for the long term, it's just not the best. We live in a society where nobody buys to own anymore, and automakers really took advantage of that. They make unreliable vehicles like Range Rover, BMWs, which most people just lease, and then when a new model comes out, they trade it in. I'm overall happy with my vehicles. Just like life, as we get older, we get more problems. Each of these vehicles have their own problems, but that's life. It's never perfect. That's pretty much it for updates on my vehicles. Again, I really appreciate everyone's support for this channel. I will continue to pump out more video for you guys, so stay tuned by subscribing. If you have any video suggestions, please comment down below. I will take everything into consideration. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you all next time.